Sure.
And so I think it's important that you understand the clinical trial process. I'm not saying the pill is bad. I just want you to think about how to make health decisions for yourself. You want to be especially vigilant, especially staying on top of it. Once I got the information I needed, I started to move in that direction about how to make health decisions for yourself.
In your mind, what would you say to brothers that's not vaccinated or just people in general?
I'm glad to hear you are protected, and thanks for being so honest here on Keeping It 100, because that's what we do.
Shout out to the original podcast intro. I haven't heard that one in a minute. I'm like, oh yeah, that was our original beat.
Right, throwback.
Throwback Wednesday. Hey Jay, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Doc? How you feeling?
I'm good. Welcome everybody to the Keeping It 100 podcast, where we have these open and honest conversations that make sure you have the information you need to make good health decisions. I am your humble host, Dr. Kristin Motley, and as always, joined by the one and only street practitioner. You ready to battle? You acting like you about to go in the ring.
The music got me up, but it's okay.
Georgie Mink Jr., thank you for the energy. I needed that boost because
welcome everyone. Welcome. Let's wake Doc up.
Come on, I know. I need to do a little bounce around myself.
Right.
It's Black History Month.
Hey.
It's day 4 in Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. Are you doing anything special? Do you do anything?
I kind of try to keep the energy around, up all year, boosting our brothers. I just hate the fact that it's just like, I don't know. I just got a 50-50 take on Black History Month, but it's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of great organizations doing some wonderful things that highlight, this month. But I just want to keep the energy. So, maybe I need to start with myself, but I'm excited. Every year, we get closer, we get stronger. There's more people, on the list, So let's just keep the energy. That's all. Just want to keep the energy. Shout out to my sisters, though. They gave us a month.
Yes, thank you for approving the month.
Right.
But I am so busy. My brain is all over the place. I didn't even realize it was Black History Month. And so Noah came home and he was like, "It's Black History Month, Mom." And I was like, "Oh yes, no, what you learned about?" So he gave me a rundown, all the people they teaching him about. So I am very grateful for it because I forgot, for real. But I do want to mention that there is some Black History Month activities happen in Chester. I'm going to see if we can get this on the screen later in the show because I just forgot this was sent to me today. But Miss Simpkins, anybody who went to the high had Miss Simpkins. She is a historian and she has Proof of Truth Museum, the resilient presence of African Americans in Chester and the diaspora. So this is open February 6th to February 21st. Oh, it hasn't opened yet. All right, I gotta check out the launch. Okay. Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays from 11 to 6, and Sundays from 1 to 5. You can go to the Cat Center on 4th Street, 2300 4th Street, to check out her exhibit. I'm pretty sure it's very similar to what she had running on MLK Day, which was incredible. But I definitely want to go back and see what she added new. So if you're looking for something to do with your family, to recognize and to celebrate the amazing achievements of the Blacks, I would definitely encourage you. Right in Chester, it's free. Check out Miss Simpkins' exhibit, Proof of Truth. So that's that. So we'll try to get that up on the screen by the end of the show. But yeah, so happy Black History Month. Yes. So in the news, I wanted to, and I forgot to mention this last week, but Philadelphia City Council is going to be making a major decision in terms of where their trash goes, if it continues to be incinerated or not. If it is going to continue to be incinerated, that will continue to happen in Chester. And we don't want that trash. We don't want that trash. We don't want that trash. So we absolutely appreciate our mayor, Mayor Roots, who went up to Philadelphia City Council to let them know we don't want their trash. Um, and all the organizations, especially Circle and Miss Zuline, Queen Lee, y'all know we had her on talking about this a few weeks ago, um, who have put a tremendous amount of effort and support into educating city council members on what is happening in Chester, how this is devastating our community, how this has been devastating our community, and we don't want that trash. And
Mm-mm.
so they will be voting on this very soon. But they were supposed to vote on it 2 weeks ago, but it almost got called for a vote, and then they like had a little sidebar, came back, and was like, "We're not gonna vote on this today." So
Right. They
I
backed out.
understand. Yeah, I understand. You know, it's a major decision. They're in the middle of an RFP process and some other things. So we're gonna see how it lands, but there are other ways to burn trash. Well, there are other ways to get rid of trash. And many cities around the country have been doing it. It's less money, significantly less money, and it's significantly less harmful. And Philadelphia has like the most brilliant minds in the country. We can get people at the table to figure out what to do with the trash if it doesn't come to Chester and get burned. That could be easily solved, and that's
Exactly.
what we need to do.
Right. And we're not taking nothing else less than that. So that's where we at. We stand with Circle. So
Please,
yeah,
please,
Mayor
let's
Roots, and I
disrupt this.
appreciate him for standing up and just speaking out on this because it's been going on for years. So yeah,
Way too long. And there hasn't been any other mayor that has spoke out against it. And so he did a 180 on that thing.
yeah.
They thought it was the same old, same old.
Nah,
Nah.
Roots, there it is.
Not roots, there it is. I was not ready. I wasn't ready for that. That was good. That was a good one. They definitely got the message. So
Right.
no, it's a new sheriff in town. Um, Other thing that's happening in terms of healthcare, we know that Crozier's buyer has been confirmed. Everything is sealed. The deal is done. And so it's now in the hands of Chariot Equities. They are an organization that invests in healthcare real estate in
Mhm.
different areas. They have a number of hospitals, and so um, that's where we are.
Quick question, Doc. I don't want to stay on it too long, but are
No,
they
that's fine.
going to keep it a hospital?
Um, it is my understanding that the owner does intend to provide healthcare services there, have hospital clinics, like um, outpatient services. So that's my understanding. Um, and at the same time, also realizing that nobody is required to provide a hospital there. Like it's not a state mandate, it's not a law, it's not anything. He intends to do that, but it's not like it's a requirement.
Right.
And so we just have to realize that it is a business decision. It's a business. He
Yeah.
owns the property. He can make it housing, and we need housing too. When we need
Right.
housing in the hospital, we can
Right.
do
Right.
both on that campus.
Right.
So
Listen, first floor ER, third floor Miss Jenkins.
exactly. So she can get to the ER real quick.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so so we'll just have to see what happens. We'll have to see what
Right.
happens, and continue to advocate and let it be known that we want a hospital there. But at the end of the day, we don't own it. It
Hmm.
ain't our money that went into buying it. It was a private company, and they get the ultimate decision.
Yeah.
And that is what that is.
Mm.
That is what that is. But I'm under the impression that they do intend to remain hospital and extensive healthcare, outpatient healthcare facilities. So
Copy. Okay.
time will tell, but it will take some time before it's anything. So it's
Right.
nothing that's going to happen in the next year. Probably at least 2 years or more is when we'll see what is going to happen out of that property.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's where we are with that. So let's bring in our guests. We are joined by the esteemed Gregory Snead. He is a licensed therapist. He's been practicing for over 10 years. He's really passionate about helping men become their greatest self. So I am here for that. I am
Thank you.
here for
Hello,
men
everyone.
becoming their greatest selves. Hey,
Hey,
G, the other
good
G.
evening, sir.
Welcome to the show. So today we're talking about substance abuse, and addiction. And I just want to start by what is substance abuse? And I start with that question because when we had our specialist on that talked about this about a year ago, she talked about alcohol being a drug. And that just blew my mind. Like I never thought of alcohol being a drug. And so I'm really it intrigued me. So I just want to start us all with like what is substance abuse?
So plainly put, substance abuse is any substance that you use and that you don't have control of, right? If you feel like if you have to use it when you wake up in the morning to deal with your family, if you have to use it to have a good time, if you have to use it to relax after work, if you have to use it to go to sleep, right? That's what I would classify as substance abuse. Any substance that you're continuously using, overusing, your body, your mind is craving it on a daily, consistent basis, and you're using it at a high rate. That's what substance abuse is.
Mm, mm,
So it's a thing that you put in your body.
So for the substance abuse, yes, it's going to be your alcohol. It's going to be
Okay.
marijuana. It's going to be cocaine. It's going to be opiates. It's going to be even the prescribed medications, right? Your painkillers is
Okay.
what we consider substance abuse. Of
Okay.
course, they have people tobacco. What do you call it? The sniffers or the can, the inhalations, any substance that you're continuing to use on a consistent basis, right?
Okay.
When you get deeper into it, it's going to be, is it affecting your work? Is it affecting your relationships? Are you hiding it from individuals? Right?
Mhm. Thank you for that breakdown.
mm.
Another breakdown question. We often hear about physical dependence and addiction. Are they the same?
Yes and no at the same time, right? So you can be physically dependent on something, but not be addicted to it, right? So physical dependence is basically your body needs that to function normally, right? So like sometimes when people can be physically dependent on certain medications, but that doesn't mean they're addicted to it. So the addiction pieces come in is when your mind and your brain is constantly craving that substance on a daily basis, throughout the day, on a weekly basis. You need that substance to perform acts, right? But that physical dependence piece can be a prescribed medication that your body, you may need to take that to fight off different diseases, or you may need it to go to sleep, or you may need that medication for anxiety or depression, right? People become physically dependent on those medications, and the school of thought is what the prescribers like to do is like taper people off of that dose, because you can be physically dependent off of it. So they like to reduce it slowly and not have people stop it all of a sudden, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that addiction piece comes in when you're craving that effect or that feeling that you get from whatever drug you're taking,
Mm.
whatever your poison is.
Wow. So let me and see real quick. So can it be hereditary, like substance abuse, or just the habit of it?
Yeah, definitely. So I think if we look at like generations, or we look at families, right, it's sometimes the habit of it, or that trait is passed down from generation to generation. Like you might see a dad who was addicted to alcohol, now he has a son who's addicted to a certain substance. Or you might see a family of the parents smoke, so now in return the kids learn that behavior. So it's kind of
Mm.
like the nature nurture. Was I born with this component? I know a lot of people in the school of in the thoughts of alcohol says there is a genetic component, right? And then other people argue, is it something like you're saying, is it something that was learned throughout the way, right? I watched my uncle drink or do this all my life, so I picked up on it early and learned that this was okay. So now I have this addiction, or I have this habit.
Mm. Mm.
Um, what have you seen as effective treatments? I mean,
Gotcha.
I guess if there is a hereditary component that may um influence the treatment options, I don't know.
Got you. So I like to use the cognitive behavioral therapy model, but when it comes to helping someone overcome addiction, the two schools of thoughts or philosophies that I jump right into is normally harm reduction, which sometimes when we hear harm reduction, we think of like the needle exchanges or giving out condoms or
Mhm.
meeting people where they are to assist them. But when I'm talking to that individual, that person, I'm focused on the harm reduction aspect of it. Is let's explore your relationship. Is it possible for you to stop altogether, or do we need to slowly reduce the amount of your intake on a daily basis? Right? Can we,
Mm-hmm.
if we use marijuana, if you're smoking, eighth of marijuana every 2 days, can we minimize this to now that eighth of marijuana lasts you a week or lasts you 3 or 4 days? How can we slowly reduce this over a period of time? Right. Um, to be honest, a lot of people with that addiction are all or nothing. So if you're not able to slowly reduce that, then we'll go in and start talking about, can you do this cold turkey? Which cold turkey is, as of what's today, the 4th, February the 5th. I'm no longer going to drink. I'm no longer going to smoke. I'm no longer going to snort. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fight these demons. I'm going to overcome this cold turkey. Right. We're not trying to use it all.
Mm. Well, Greg, there's a big contradiction between what we're discussing and like the dispensaries.
Gotcha.
Within the last 5 to 10 years, has been like an increase in dispensaries and people using marijuana, as an aid, especially for mental health and all, different other elements or whatever. So, what's your take on that?
So I
Because
like
it,
it.
go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. You good. Finish.
No, I would just wanted to know what your take on that is because it's kind of being promoted and is also addictive drug. So,
Yeah, definitely. So I like to encourage everybody to explore their relationship with sex, marijuana, alcohol, any drug, even gambling, to be completely honest. Right. If it's one of those things that you got to get up and smoke to go to work, or you got to get up to smoke to interact with your family, right? You're physically dependent where you got to smoke to get an appetite. That's something that you want to explore your relationship with marijuana. Because it can be harmful. I know people say, well, it's not crack or it's not heroin, but at the end of the day, you're allowing a substance to control and manage how you deal and how you show up in life, right? And it is harmful side effects that people don't talk about, right? Like I was reading an article that was basically saying that it could lead to extreme paranoia or schizophrenia, those severe persistent mental illnesses, because of what it does to your brain. Um, Me personally, I feel like it has the ability to affect your motivation. It has your ability. You're walking around in the fog. It has the ability to affect your productivity, right? So when people tell me they kind of needed to go to sleep, or I needed to manage my anxiety, right? What else have you tried? What other methods have you tried to do to control your anxiety or to help with your sleep aid?
mm,
I want to jump in on this one. I was actually, I mean, I'm actually employed by a cannabis dispensary in
Gotcha.
Pennsylvania. I just don't ever go to work because I don't ever have
No
time.
shade, no shade, no shade, no shade.
I just work like PRN, like if they need me to come in. And I would say for years, going to pharmacy school, after graduating from pharmacy school, and just taking in all the negative information I've heard about marijuana, like I took that and I believe that, and that's how I framed how I felt about marijuana. But after reading and learning more about the medical benefits that it has, it really it changed a lot of the way that I was thinking about it. Now, the one good thing that I do like about the controlled method of using cannabis, where you're getting it from a place where you know what's in the bottle, as opposed to you buying something off the street that could be laced with whatever.
mm-hmm.
It In the state of Pennsylvania, the manufacturers have to tell you what's in it, how much is in it,
Gotcha.
and It has to be properly labeled. They're constantly testing and they're tracking. It's a lot. It's highly regulated. So you know that if you get one bottle and you get it again a year later, it's the same. Like you're going to have the same effect. It's not going to vary depending on who you buying it from.
So what about the guy that's like my question would be, so what about the 18-year-old that's not using it for nausea or using it because he has chronic pain? He's using it because he likes the effect of being high, right? Like he likes to get up and smoke before he goes to school, or he likes to smoke before he eat. Like what about,
I
would
think
that be
there's
acceptable?
responsible ways to use it. I'm just speaking from the medical marijuana perspective, just because that's where my experience is. And in Pennsylvania, there are a limited number of conditions that are approved. So like cancer and autism, severe pain and seizures and glaucoma. Um, so there's a number. It's about 24 different diseases that it can be used for. And when you talk to people that have used it and used it responsibly, it helps. It helps when we are, when the pharmaceutical companies, they're making billions of dollars off of synthetic drugs, and we have a natural plant where you can extract what you need from it for it to help. It really helps with these conditions. So I can't speak too much to the recreational use. I feel like there is a place for it. If there's a place to use it responsibly, it is much safer than alcohol. It is much safer. There's no um there has been no evidence of overdose in the way that alcohol can cause your body to shut down.
Gotcha.
So if you're comparing it to alcohol, it's like an angel.
No.
Alcohol is
I wouldn't say.
destructive.
How you feel about that, Greg?
It's the angel. If you're using it responsibly.
So first, I got to piggyback on this because I like to let everybody know, right? Alcohol is actually the worst drug or substance to detox from, right? People get crazy sick from heroin, but if you're an alcoholic and you detox from alcohol, you can actually get hallucinations, you get confused, you can like go crazy. You actually can die from detoxing from alcohol, right? So I do always, whenever we bring up alcohol, I'll always throw that in there, right? But I would much rather a young man know, or a young brother, or even a young woman learn to cope with stress, to learn to sleep, to learn to manage these things without putting a foreign substance in your body, right? So if you smoking on holidays, if you smoking, it's a Saturday morning, I'm just, I'm smoking every once in a while. You're a social smoker, social drinker. I can understand that, and I support that. I don't judge anybody, truthfully, right? But if you have to do it 7 days a week, if you waking up at 6 o'clock, you smoking from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, and you don't have that cancer, that seizure disorder, glaucoma, I think you really got to sit down and evaluate your relationship with it and see if it's controlling you or you controlling it at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You relying on something. I know people say it's natural, but you're relying on something that our bodies don't necessarily need, right? We should be able to self-regulate and go to sleep naturally in a sense if we don't have a sleep disorder, right? We should be able to enjoy our families or work and be productive if we don't have one of those severe disorders naturally without an aided substance.
Any kind of addiction is a problem. So it doesn't matter what it is. Any kind of addiction is a problem and needs to be addressed. And I absolutely agree. Learning those coping skills and coping mechanisms to deal with the issue, like dealing with the issue at its root, as opposed to covering it up, and then becoming addicted, and then now you just stuck. Like now you just stuck in addiction, until you get out of it. And so I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. But I agree with the medical aspect of it, but I just see like that abuse piece is more than likely going to slowly increase over time, right? Where when you first take that first drink, it might only take you 1 or 2 shots to get drunk, and now after years and years of doing it, now you down in fifths of liquor, now you smoking whole packs of cigarettes in a day because of that abuse piece. it's going to slowly creep up over time.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
How do people address addiction? Like, what's the best way to address addiction with a person if you have a friend or family member that you're concerned about? Because I imagine they're going to deny it, and
Gotcha.
so and so like, how do you address it because you want them to get help? Is
Yeah.
there anything that a person could do? I don't know.
I think honestly, the first step is that person, so that they call it like the 5 stages of change, which applies to weight loss, everything, right? But the first step is pre-contemplation, where that person doesn't see it as a problem. They don't see it as an issue. They see my marijuana use or alcohol use as a benefit. I ain't hurting nobody. I done worked all day. I'm just going to the bar, happy hour, having a good time. If they don't see it as a problem, there's really nothing you can do to help them. You can't force it on them, right? They have to make it to that next stage of contemplation or that next stage of action where they're actually, yo, you know what? This thing got control of me. It's affecting my relationship with my kids, my wife, my job. So now I'm ready to take I'm ready to take the action steps to, get control of my addiction or at least manage it. So I think knowing where that person is in those stages of change and how they view their addiction is important.
That's good to hear. So, because I'm thinking about, like people that's trying to hide something don't want you to know about it. So bringing it up and they're trying to hide it could be, but you don't even know where they're thinking of. Like, are they in pre-contemplation? Are they th- th-
I think show
thinking
the
that it's a
signs, right?
problem?
I think they're gonna show you the signs of where they're at. If you speak up and, hey, I'm noticing the changes of you, right? You don't have any money, or you coming in late, your daily habits is changing, you're starting to smell like marijuana, or you just appear high all the time. If I bring this up to you and you don't admit that it's a problem and you downplay it, or you tripping, get out of here, ain't nothing wrong, that shows me you're not ready to change, right? And I can't force it on you if it's not their idea, if it's not them initiating it. I can talk to my blue in the face, and it might not. It's not going to help, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. But then, what happens to that relationship once that person brings it up, and they feel like, I don't know, they feel like their relationship could have been compromised to some degree because they were trying to hide it, but now they know that the other person knows. Like, how does that work? Like, how do you move past that?
I think it's the person that's bringing it up. I think it's important how they approach the situation, letting them know that, look, I want the best for you. I want the best for us. It's not that I'm judging you. It's not that I'm putting you down. I just feel like whatever, you're not working up to your potential, or this thing is destroying you. I see how your behavior has changed the last 6 months, or this ain't the person I met, right? How I'm here to help you and support you through this, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the way, that not to approach it from a judgmental phase, like George was saying, like people to say that it's a genetic component, right? It's an actual illness. It can develop into an illness. So it's at some point when that person loses full control, right? There has to be some compassion there. There has to be some love, some understanding there. But I always say with that, it's important to make sure whoever's bringing it up, that you set your boundaries, right? You protect yourself. You decide early on, how am I willing to support this person? How am I able to support this person? Or how I'm not able to support this person, right? Because sometimes we probably all seen it, when the person get into that addiction, sometimes they don't have no rules. They don't have no laws. They're gonna do whatever they need to do to continue getting that high, that feeling, chasing it. When it comes to families, I always use the example of the movie Jungle Fever. I don't know if you guys remember when what Samuel L. Jackson was Wesley Snipes' brother, and he was asking Wesley Snipes for $20, and Wesley Snipes says, "No, I'm not giving you any more money. I'm tired of you doing XYZ." And Samuel L. Jackson, I remember, was like, "So you want me to rob an old white lady for it? I'll do it. I'll do it." Like, so we gotta be comfortable with setting that boundary and enforcing that boundary, and whatever, protecting ourselves. And if they can't respect that, we gotta love them from a distance.
It's rough. So what's your take with like AA meetings and NA meetings? do you work that in your like in your programming?
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, I do recommend it, but I feel like if everybody, sometimes we feel like we're Superman or we Superwoman and we can do these things alone, or we don't want to go and talk to people. But I think it's important to surround yourself around positive people, to surround yourself by somebody that's going to help pull me out of this addiction, not somebody that's going to keep me in. Right. So if AA or NA meetings ain't somebody's thing, you at least got to get connected to somebody who I can call when I'm going through it and I'm getting that urge. Because just because I don't want to use, that don't mean that urge is going to go away. It might be there months later, years later. So I think it's important to get connected with a solid group of people who not using.
Right. So your first initial, so say if I come in and I'm like, look, man, you know, my life is going down. Alcohol has been the root of all evil for me. Like, what's your first approach? Do you just do like a diagnosis of like a mental diagnosis of where they at, their age, how long they've been drinking?
Yeah. So I definitely want to know your relationship with alcohol. I want to know how long you've been drinking, or any drug. I want to know how long you've been drinking. I want to know, do you want to quit? I want to know, have you had any quit time in the past, right? If you've been drinking or smoking for 20 years, how long what's your longest sober period that you've been in your life, right? What helped you during that period? What are some triggers for your alcohol use? If it's the stressful environment, if it's stress at home, or if it's my friend group, this is what we do. We get together on Wednesday night, we all get a pitch in for a bottle, something to eat. This is how we hang out. Like, I want to know all these things so we can talk about how to manage your triggers, right? So we can talk about how to maybe stay away from that friend group for a while and get a new friend group. You know? And then once we tap into your relationship with alcohol, we'll definitely get into your disorders, a lot of your thought patterns that may be, forcing you to drink, your coping skills, right? I want to know, what do you do for fun outside of your addiction? Who are you outside of that? What is a time in your life where you felt free as a kid, where you were just able to, sit in the park and have a good time? All right.
It's tough though, because we trained a certain way. So we trained to celebrate like that. We trained to party like that. Everywhere we go, all our functions have alcohol. That's how our mindset is. We become 21, you're allowed to go in the bar legally, and nobody wants to admit that they have a addiction problem. Nobody wants to admit they have a problem with alcohol. I mean, I'm using myself as an example. Like, that's how I started. I started like young, we drinking, we mixing stuff, So now, as you get older, of course, it affects your body differently, your decisions, it affects all your relationships.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it'd be a time where you got to come to grips. But we programmed that way. It's like we programmed. Even when we have game nights, we have the females had the girls' nights. All these things contribute. Alcohol is always the buddy partner. So it's just like, wow, how do we start reprogramming, even in our circles, because, it's just tough.
So honestly, and that's part of that either harm reduction or cold turkey thing, right? Do I got to sit out from the party because I'm not drinking at all? Can I assert before, every other drink, can I make sure I drink a bottle of water? Or can I set a limit that I'm only going to drink 2 or 3 drinks a night? After that, that's my cutoff point. I got to leave, or whatever the case may be. But honestly, we also talk about how your friends is going to respond to this new you, right? Is it going to be, right? First of all, how do you let them know respectfully, hey, I'm not on that, I'm not drinking, right? Are they going to respect it and try to force a drink on you and clown you in this sort, lack of better, whatever it is? He's better than everybody else. He's too good for us. Or they gonna respect that, yo, George working on something right now, right? George is trying to control himself. He trying to take it to the next level. Hey, yo, let's support George. We might drink, but we're not gonna offer George a drink.
Right. It's a big one. Especially when you know, and like I know families that's like known for it. Oh, they all drink. It'd be passed down from the mom that everybody drank, and then they take pride in it. So they take pride of being able to drink and hold that liquor, and just it's so mental, man. So like what you're doing is a big thing, man.
And I tell people, like, honestly, sometimes we got to keep ourselves we got to remove ourselves from those situations. Like I give the example sometimes. My stepmom had passed away, and at that time I was saying that, yo, I ain't drinking, I ain't doing nothing. So we, like at her repast, you will, right? So they passing around her favorite liquor, everybody drinking out the bottle, and I knew it was coming to my turn, and I'm working on something, and like my dad is kind of looking at me like, yo, you better take a drink, but I had to walk away because I'm working on something. Like if you guys can't respect what I'm working on, maybe this ain't the circle for me to be in anyway. So sometimes we got to feel comfortable with removing ourselves from those situations. You know?
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss, and I can't imagine how hard that must have been for you, because you want to pay respect to her, and then your family's there and they're looking at you. So I know
like
that was incredibly hard.
It's ingrained. Like that's how people. It's important of our everyday life. Everything is revolved around alcohol. You know. So
yeah. Yep. So do people have to hit rock bottom in order to get ready to get help, or does it ever happen before it gets so bad and so out of control?
So I don't think you have to hit rock bottom. I will say a lot of times when people come to me for alcohol, that's normally they probably got a DUI or something's going on with their jobs. So a lot of the young boys, my electricians, they'll show up because now they peed hot. So now they got to come to therapy. So sometimes that is a motivating factor for change. But that biggest piece is what I kind of mentioned earlier, is that contemplation, realizing that, yo, this ain't serving me no purpose. This ain't helping me. This ain't getting me to the next level of my life. I got to make a choice, you know? So I think it's a combination of both. But either way, it got to be that realization that, you know, I can't smoke, or I can't drink. I can't do this. This is not healthy for me.
Now, Greg, do you ever incorporate like a higher power, like in your programming, like, you know, as far as like redirecting and new lifestyle, new choices, or you stay away from that?
When you say higher power, you talk about religion or?
Yes.
Okay. So I am Christian. If I see, like say if your picture on the back of your screen, if it was a scripture or a quote there, or part of my initial assessment is, do you have any religious beliefs? If you're a Christian, if you do have religious beliefs, I'm definitely going to bring up the Bible or give you some motivation quotes. So recommending, instead of me telling you to meditate, I'm going to tell you to pray and take some deep breaths. But I don't force religion on anybody, right? I meet with individuals who are Muslim. And even them, I encourage them to make sure they're in touch with their spirituality. But I meet with individuals who say, I don't believe in any God. I don't believe in anything. So I don't push religion on anybody, though.
Right. Okay.
But I do feel like I see the difference in individuals who have that belief in God and a higher power than the individuals who don't believe in anything.
Right.
I see a difference. Like a lot of individuals, I feel like, who don't believe in God sometimes just see what's in front of them. They don't have any faith that it's a better day coming or it's a different way of life, because all they can see is directly in front of them sometimes.
Right.
You answered all my questions, G. Anything else come to mind for you?
No, I mean, it's a good topic. Like I said, you know, I was struggling with alcohol, and you know, it was like a problem. I kept ignoring it. And you know, eventually, you know, it led to some of my downfalls or whatever. And I just was in a circle where alcohol was always the thing. So even if I was saying I was trying to do cold turkey, I'm not drinking, it would be alcohol at the event. So, you know, it even affects some of my work, you know, not to give out too much information, but it was like I was drinking one time at the job. I got suspended from my job, like from my boss. She's on the camera right now. So, I mean, you know, it was something that I really was struggling with, that I didn't know I was struggling with. And actually, Doc brought it to my attention. And just all these things that you're saying, it's like it's a thing, like, and we got to take heed. I mean, really mainly for health issues. I mean, it affects every aspect of your health. Like, I mean, you know, even the way you look. it start aging you, it start doing things to you eternally, and it affects you mentally going forward. So
yeah, definitely. Something that becomes a social thing and a way we have fun turns into something that we begin to rely on a daily basis. When we need that drink at work to get over this stressful shift, all right, or the boss and says something crazy, like the first thing we can think of, I need this deuce or whatever. I need this today. I deserve it, and it becomes our crutch. And people think like sometimes that it helps with your mental health, but it actually makes those things completely worse because you're not dealing with it, you're not addressing it, you're just suppressing it with that bottle, and then it's just more and more buildup. So when it blows for real.
Right.
So I always encourage everybody to again, I think I said it, but explore your relationship with alcohol, drugs, sex, and even gambling. I know gambling is becoming a big thing right now. You know, even where I was watching the news the other day, and I forget the exact percentage, but basically they were saying that teenagers are starting to do the online gambling. And my wife couldn't believe, I'm telling, like, I got 2 young boys in my practice that do it, but the one young boy started with his dad, right? It was just started with, yo, pops, you know, son, I'm doing these picks, what you like? And then the other one was just smarter than everybody else. He created his own online account, started winning. His mom gave him her cash app to get the money, but like we got to explore our relationship with those.
Wow.
And see if it's something social, if it's something that we do every once in a while, cool, I get it, I respect it. I'm a social drinker, right? Truthfully, if I can manage marijuana and tobacco, I probably would smoke every now and then, but I can't. Like, that's my vice. So I encourage everybody, evaluate your relationship with it. If it's something you dependent on it, you need it to interact with your family, to go to work or have a good time, you want to see if you can scale back on it. Find other things to do.
One more important question. I don't want to hold you up. As far as your relationship, working your relationships back with your loved ones, like that was a key one that I saw on our questions, and I'm curious of what's your thoughts on it, like, because you hurt your loved ones, they see you at your worst. You might not even realize you're at your worst. So, how do you? What's some of your strategies for like working, your relationships back? I mean, of course, you can't make everything better, but what are some of your strategies for integrating back with your family or making amends to your family?
So I think it's two. I think since it's a relationship, it go both ways. So we'll start with the addict, the person who messed the relationship up. I think it's important, one, to admit that you offended somebody, to admit that you did something wrong. When you were that year or 2 years, 6 months, however long you were in your addiction, you missed parts of your kids' lives, right? You withheld certain information from your wife. You broke trust. She had to live and do things because of where you were. So I think it's important, or mom or brother, whatever. So I think it's important to know that, I did something wrong, to admit that, and to try to gain their trust back and do the little things to gain that love and that trust back, But I think it's equally important from that family member that was offended and hurted, not to hold it on that person. Not to say, hey, a year ago I had to do X, Y, Z, so now you got to do all this and you got to pay all the bills, or you owe me such and such. I think it has to be both parties willing to try to grow and work past that relationship.
Right.
Not constantly throw up in their face the wrong that they did, because they did wrong, and I get it, and it was unfair to the relationship, but holding it over their head ain't gonna be helpful either.
Right.
Good
what you got, Doc?
Nah, this has been great. This is great. I don't know if I got the exclusive interview on your life, but I'm honored that you disclosed that you are sober, that you're working on yourself on the Keeping It 100 podcast. So thanks for keeping it 100 with us.
That's what we do. We keep it 100. So,
and we can help you. Like, when we know that there is an issue, that is when we can help you. So I'm glad that you came around. So,
and I'm honored to say I don't drink. I mean, I'm not drinking at all. Like, and I don't miss it. Like, I don't miss it. I could be around it. I don't have to toast. I don't have to shot. I don't have to do none of those things. And, of course, it had a lot to do with my higher power and getting into the Bible and the Word. And, it's not just one thing. It's a combination. So you want to change your lifestyle, your mentality. So, and some therapy. You know, therapy and God. That's our motto, right, Doc? So
That's it. Everybody need God and a therapist, and you could get
right,
through life.
right,
We could get.
right.
You know what? I think we should do an interview with you on your process, on the whole story, the comeback.
Yeah, we could. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're
it's
gonna feature you in one of these episodes. We're gonna get you in.
okay. I'm ready.
Because people need to hear, and they need to hear from people that they know and that they trust. And I think it'll be powerful. How about G and G just have a conversation? I don't even gotta be there. I'm gonna
Right,
open up. I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna slide out, and then y'all can just do y'all thing.
That worked for
I
me, but I
think that
do
would
think
be
it's
powerful.
important. I do think it's important to hear from people that's actually experienced something and went through something, right?
hmm
Because it's sometimes a lot of times what I hear from individuals when I refer them to like a substance abuse program, they immediately look at that person and they might can tell like, yo, she's never been addicted to a substance, right? She's never went through what I went through. So how can she tell me to overcome something that she's never had to overcome? To
Hmm.
be
right,
honest, she's never
Hmm.
witnessed. So I think it's important to give both sides of it. And that's
right.
Hmm.
why truthfully I like y'all podcast, right? We got Doc and we got the street practitioner, right? To give
Hey,
both aspects of it is really important.
right,
Hmm.
right.
Absolutely. Well, we had a good conversation. We way over time. I hope you ain't gonna charge me extra,
No,
Gregory,
you good,
because
you good.
we taking
I
up
actually
all
enjoy
your
this
evening.
conversation.
Oh, that's good. Thank you so much for being here. How can people get in contact with you?
All right, so I got a website. It's www.gstherapyservices.com. You can contact me on my phone number 302-305-3819. On Facebook, I'm just my name, Gregory Snead. On Instagram, I'm greater_self-therapy.
Mm.
Can you repeat your number and your website again?
Yeah, my phone number is 302-305-3819. And my website is www.gstherapyservices.com.
Beautiful. And let's just get that IG while we at it.
All right, yep, greater_self-therapy.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
What's the podcast that you can always turn in to get entertaining, informative health information? What you
You,
got?
you you already know, you seen the intro, the Keeping It 100 podcast.
Hey.
Hey,
Oh, thank you so much for
appreciate you,
No,
being
man.
thank
here. We
y'all
will
for having
have
me.
you back. We'll have you back to interview George,
Yeah,
and y'all can
we
do
All right,
can
y'all
let
do
me
it.
thing.
know.
I'm
All
ready.
right, let me know.
Let's change some lives, y'all.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate you,
You
Greg. Thank you,
too.
brother.
Have a
Yeah.
good night. All right, that was really good.
Yeah, turned
I
out
was
good.
sleepy going into it, then it woke me up.
Right. I saw
Ready
you
to
with your
roll.
mouth open. I'm like, oh yeah.
I'm ready to roll.
Okay. Nah,
Good
it was
job,
good stuff,
G.
though, Doc. Yeah, appreciate you,
Thanks
though,
for
Doc.
being honest. Thanks for being vulnerable. I know that's not easy, but you did it. And you're
Right.
gonna change some lives through that.
Yeah, it's
So
about helping. We gotta help the folks, Doc, and that's been our motto. Just we regular people as well.
regular.
So
Absolutely.
hey, we
Yep.
got my story can help. Let me keep telling it. If it's a testimony, if it's my testimony, it can help somebody. Let's go. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that's what we're here for.
All right. I can't wait to see this interview.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Uh, just want to remind everybody we talked about Miss Simpkins Black History Month event. It is going to be February 6th to the 21st at the Cat Center at 2300 4th Street. So make sure you check that out. Proof of Truth Museum, the resilient presence of African Americans in Chester and the diaspora. So if you're looking for something to do for Black History Month, that's your thing to do. Health Educated will be at Shiloh Baptist Church on 7th and Central on Sunday, February
Mm,
15th, right after church service. We're offering blood pressure screenings and giving some giveaways. Of course, we're going to be doing some lead education because um, which is has a connection to heart health, which February is also Heart Health Month.
mhm,
Um, Lead people who are exposed to lead, even if they didn't know it, have a higher risk of having high blood pressure and heart disease because lead never leaves your body. It sticks around and it causes all types of issues. So We definitely want to make sure we are educating the community about lead, and we're going to offer some free blood pressure screenings at Shiloh on February 15th, right after church service. So come around 12:30, 1 o'clock, and we got you. Last thing, our blood pressure program, we're starting a new cohort toward the end of March. So if you want to get better control of your blood pressure, if you have high blood pressure, please click the QR code or check us out at healtheducatedinc.org. Sign up for our free blood pressure program. You get a blood pressure monitor, you get a health coach, you get free nutrition sessions, healthy eating, like all the things. It's a really good program that's funded by the Pennsylvania Department of Health. So that's
Nice.
all I got. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next Wednesday at 7:15.
Okay, keep it 100.
I'm glad to hear you are protected, and thanks for being so honest here on Keeping It 100, because that's what we do.